The market action of the day, the Wall Street had another day in the red today. Markets eased early gains and closed below the 7750 mark for the first time in 2 weeks. In fact, the Sensex too slipped 200 points from its intra-day high to end 100 points down in trade. The Bank Nifty and the mid-cap saw 0.5% being shaved off completely, with the latter slipping below 13,000 mark. Reema Tendulkar joins in now to decode the day's trade for us. Reema, late weakness withered on the Wall Street today. Clearly, bears were on a strong footing.
Yes, indeed, and Indian markets were down for the third straight session in a row, and we were underperforming the rest of our global peers. So we started off flat, but then towards the end, selling pressure gripped our markets, and we finally ended around that 7750 mark. The intraday low was 7735. It's just an account of ITC and the big up move that we saw because of that bonus announcement and the revenue beat that you saw the markets inch towards that 7760 mark. That was in fact the final tick. Other than that, there were also some fears of a possible slowdown in monsoon or some change in the monsoon projections on account of the cyclone which is developing in Bay of Bengal. So that was also a side worry for markets, apart from the fact that the SEBI has also tightened the P-note norms. By the end of trade, as you pointed out, we were down nearly 0.5%, 7750. A bit of a recovery in late trade because of ITC. For the week, the Nifty's lost about 0.8%, with PSU banks taking a big knock. So the PSU banking index ended down close to about 7.5%. Key stock movers, one of them was Lupin. Yesterday, we got the numbers during market hours. Good set of earnings, but the management commentary in the conference call post-market hours was cautious, whether it was about the US-based business, ex of Glumetza and Fortimed, or about the 483 hangover, by the US FDA, or the increased R&D spend. But Lupin was the biggest loser, down nearly about 9%. For ITC, top line beat, margins, profits in line with expectation. Cigarette business was a fairly healthy performance. That stock closed up in the green, and plus you got their 1:2 bonus as well. Other Nifty losers include ICICI Bank, Reliance Industries, BPCL too lost some ground, so these heavyweights were under pressure. On the gaining side, you had Adani Ports, so some short covering visible in this. Remember, yesterday it was down nearly 5% in trade. For this month, on the back of weak earnings, it's lost nearly 20-25%. So some up move seen in that, purely short covering. ONGC has moved up nearly 5%, with the gain of 5% seen in Brent crude prices. So ONGC's E&P portfolio does well. And on the mid-cap earnings front, SpiceJet, disappointing set of earnings, lower than market expectations on account of the one-time expense. Pidilite, on the other hand, strong numbers. Stock closing at record levels on account of the 19% revenue growth as well as the 19.2% EBITDA margins. And Karnataka Bank stood out amongst all the other banking stocks in terms of its earnings. The management, in fact, guiding for a decline in their gross as well as net NPAs. So that stock too was up nearly 7%. Back to you.